Grief Connection. I am so excited to connect you today to one of my beloved clients, Linzie. And we are going to explore her personal journey through the highs and lows and the wild chaos of grief, my friends. So let's hold space with this beautiful light. Linzie, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. And I'm so excited that we are having this conversation because I was thinking beforehand about when we connected. And it was probably 4 years ago in May, was it not? Like it was a
Hmm.
springtime kind of energy. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, it does. Yeah.
I'll never forget you walking into my office, the fear, the anxiety, and all I could see was your soul trying to radiate through this cloud. And it was like this heavy cloud that was around you. And as I've
Yeah.
gotten to watch you explore yourself, empower yourself, take the universe by your fingertips and mold it in all these beautiful ways, I just knew launching the Grief Connection, I had to have your voice in the community because so many people will see pieces of themselves with you.
Yeah, I'm so
So,
happy.
oh, I'm so grateful. It's interesting. Were you getting very anxious before connecting with this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to remind people
Yeah.
this is a vulnerable experience. It's a raw journey to kind of walk through and see all these steps that we've explored.
Yeah.
And with that, I want to take people back. I want them to know who you were before this shift in your journey, before this growth was enforced on you. Where were you in your life before our first impactful event?
I had a two and a half year old with a man named Everett, who was my boyfriend at the time, was working as a full-time nurse, full-time mom, super busy, was doing a long distance relationship and watching my dad battle cancer for 8 years.
And what's your
I
dad's
remember
name?
Michael.
Michael. And what kind of cancer was he up against?
He had colon cancer.
Okay, thank you.
And I remember I always thought back then that I was happy.
Oh,
And, you have a sweet kid and you have a boyfriend and you have this amazing family and a dad that is fighting to be on this earth so hard to be with you and your son. And I, so much changed when he left. And I don't think you really realize where you're at in your life until something like that happens and kind of
yes.
turns everything upside down.
And your father and you were very close, from what I
He was
know.
he was yeah, my person.
Yeah.
I could walk into a room and I actually hated this about him, but loved it, but hated it. Yeah, sorry, Dad. But I could walk into a room and he knew when something was wrong. Sometimes he knew something was wrong before I knew something was wrong, which that just takes a really like a special bond. I
Yes.
Yeah, I could talk to him about anything. Yeah, he could get super scary, but he was also the kind of guy that would cry during movies and songs and commercials and all the things. Was really in tune, I think, with his emotions and feeling things, where I think is a little bit rare sometimes with men.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and he was the nurturing side of my parents.
Yes.
Yeah, and me and him were yeah, we were super close.
So he sounds like he was a very stable energy that was like a safe protector for
Mhm.
you. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah, super safe.
It's
Yeah,
interesting
you,
just even talking your dad's energy stepping forward because he's used to
of course. It's like, oh hey girl,
right?
that.
He's like a forceful teddy bear. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
do you know what I mean?
And like
he makes sure he's known, but he's
Yeah,
comforting. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah. And sarcastic too, because people always wonder like where I get my humor and sarcasm from, and they always just think, "Oh yeah, your dad was so nice." I'm like, no, he was sarcastic as fuck. That's exactly where me and my brother got it from. You know, like he could crack jokes and make fun of you just like the next person, but then cry at the same time.
Oh,
So
and I love that you're describing, because this is how I describe you,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like this open
yeah,
heart. And it just feels like you
yeah,
guys are two reflection pieces of each other. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah. We are
Oh,
100%.
that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And his relationship with Mason, I'm assuming, was
Oh,
super cherished.
I this part always gets me. I believe that I got almost an extra 3 years with my dad because I had Mason. My dad was getting really tired, and actually the doctor said that he wouldn't. Usually, you make it through about 3 to 4 years is usually what they give you with his diagnosis. And Mason came in at that, I think, 4 year mark, and I think that was the reason that my dad found some more fight,
Wow.
and we got some of the most beautiful moments I think I will ever have in my life with him and Mason, because he was always like a really proud dad, but to see him as a papa, that that was, yeah, that still gives me goosebumps. Like I remember the day I told him, and all he could do was just like he looked at me, and my mom is like yelling in the background, and my dad is just sitting there with his hands in his face, just sobbing. Because,
Oh,
yeah, they had just an unremarkable bond. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing to watch. He was
that's
meant to be a papa, and I'm so grateful that I was able to give him that for
I
almost three
love
years.
that. Do you see
Yeah.
a lot of Mason's characteristics similar to him?
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
Like
such a gift.
Mason is the kindest, sweetest soul that you could ever want in a human being, but also super funny,
Yes.
so he has that as well. Yeah, I see it lots, and it's just really beautiful. I sometimes just feel like we got robbed, and I wish they would have had more
Oh,
time together, but I'm grateful that we got what we got.
I'm so grateful for that as
Yeah,
well. And I'm grateful that you're able to share those memories and those
yeah,
connection points for Mason.
yeah.
That's very beautiful of your father's strength and love
Mhm.
stepping forward through that for you guys.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
the this journey did not end in a positive light. Your
Mm-mm.
father
He
stepped
was,
forward into his angel wings.
yeah, he was. I remember the day we were having a meeting at the hospital, and they were going to tell him that the treatment was no longer working. And unfortunately, as a nurse, um, I picked up on this probably a year because
Wow.
because of his blood work. He was having to skip treatments because his body wasn't strong enough, and that's a sign that it's it's going to start to not work. And as a nurse, it's hard to, sometimes you don't want to know that ahead of time,
Yeah.
but you don't get a choice to just pick and choose what you know. Like once you know. And so I had already gotten one of my best friends to come in that Christmas and take family pictures. And those are our last pictures, because I was pretty sure that was going to be his last Christmas. So I knew ahead of time, but I do remember going into the hospital, and I knew that they were going to be telling him that it was time to go palliative. And I don't think that, even though as a
Yeah.
nurse and you try to prepare, um, those words will cut through every part of your soul. Um, when you are finally told that there's nothing more Western nursing can do, and all you can do is cherish every moment until you don't get any more. And he was given 5 months and he lasted 5 weeks. So it was really quick. It was really quick. And I took off work and if anybody is watching, I was questioning taking off work because, you need to pay bills and I had some savings for a house and I had to use those to pay my bills. And if anyone's questioning it, you will never get that time back. And I am so grateful that I took that time off and I was home with him because you don't get that back. You can always make more money and I'll buy a house when the time is right, but I will never get those moments back with my dad. So if you're ever questioning taking that time and you have the ability, do it
Yes.
because you don't get it back.
Wow. I'm so
Yeah,
grateful that you were able to. And I guess it's the unknown too that you really struggle with, because 5 months versus 5 weeks is a very big difference.
it is very big. We thought we had more time. We wanted to take him to BC and he just declined way quicker than we thought.
Wow. Were you
Yeah,
able to have a lot of present moments with your father? Because
yeah,
that's beautiful. I'm
yeah.
so
With our
grateful.
family, like our house, my dad, he's kind of like me. We have a lot of people that love us. We're always the kind of people that are willing to help people, sometimes maybe stretching our boundaries a little bit too far, and forgetting about ourselves. But there are so many people that I have in my life that I would drop and do anything for. And I 100% get that from my dad. And my auntie in recent events has reminded me, she says, your dad was always my go-to guy. And then he passed away and she called me and I
Wow.
I didn't hesitate. So my dad had a lot of people. So our door was like a revolving door in those 5 weeks. There was always people in and visiting and sometimes that was hard though.
I
Because
bet.
sometimes you just selfishly want to tell people to fuck off and have
Right?
your own time, right?
Well, it feels
But
very
then
invasive because it's such a sacred time for the family. Does that make
right,
sense?
yeah, but then you also want to honor that he was loved by so many. So you have
Yeah.
to honor that as well, right? So it's very much a balancing thing.
Wow.
Yeah, which I think that
Interesting.
people don't really understand
Well,
until
I
you're in
think people really prioritize self in some capacity or
it.
trying
Hmm.
to support others in that, but it feels like it's always when I hear about this, it feels as though it's overstepping because there's
Hmm.
a component of I want to be involved, I want to be recognized for my connection with you, I need that closure, but it's also not realizing the impact on the people that they have grown their entire lives with those sacred connections. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And people obviously they just all want to say goodbye, but yeah, I do I did find that like quite hard
Yes.
just to share him when you know that your time is coming up. It's like some ticking time bomb that you don't know when it's going to go off.
Yes. And
Yeah,
it must have been hard too being a mom with a young one because a young child doesn't understand what is happening.
yeah. And so there were a few books that I had gotten from the social worker, from I think it was from the cancer center, and it actually explained grief, kind of how the seasons go and the leaves.
Wow.
And just something super simple that little kids can understand. And at that time, Mason was obsessed with books. So we read that book quite a few times. But as a mom, I had to read it a few times myself before I could get through it. Yeah. Like sometimes you just have to prepare your heart a little bit more to protect them.
Yeah.
And then finding that balance of it's okay for Mason to see me cry to some capacity, right?
Yeah.
But to some capacity, you also have to stay strong for them.
It's
It's
such a
very,
hard balance because you
yeah.
want to still provide that leadership role and have that
Mm.
safety of I'm well through this, but also recognizing I'm not well. My whole life has
Mhm.
changed and I don't know how to step up every single day.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It's there. Nobody can prepare you for that. And especially
No.
for a little boy that was so close to his papa. Like we
Hmm.
lived there. So he was with him all the time and saw the slow decline. And of course, these little people, they have just the most heart-wrenching questions and
Oh,
comments, right? Where when they're at the age where they can understand but not fully, they'll just say whatever's in their head. And some
yeah.
of Mason's comments were the ones that wrecked me the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, were you able to find supports through this? How did you navigate this? Because I feel as though this, in some capacities, broke who you
Mhm.
were before, and trying to just even pick up the milk off the floor and bring it into a container again. People don't
Mhm.
understand the complexities and the layering and the time this takes. This is not just a 6-month deal, this is a forever changing
Mhm.
aspect of our life moving forward.
Yeah. Um, Supports a, a lot of the time, to be honest, I felt very alone.
Yeah.
Um, because my mom just lost the man that she's been with for over 30 years. So your mom can't support you
Yeah.
through that. And my brother lived in Saskatoon. And even though he knew what I was going through, we both have very different relationships with my dad,
Yeah.
right? So even though people that you know are going through the same thing, everybody's journey is so different. And I did have a counselor, but I honestly don't remember seeing her, to be honest.
That's very common.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think it was maybe a couple months later, I thought maybe I should go to a grief counselor. And that was the worst. Like they just told me everything that I already knew, and they were just agreeing with everything that I was saying. And I don't need people to agree with everything I'm saying. I
Oh
need you to like guide
no.
me through my thoughts. So I think at that point I was just like, nope, I guess I'm just gonna get through this myself. And
Wow.
of course I had like friends, but a lot of my friends at that time, they all have their dads,
Yeah.
so like they don't get it. And even though, like I had said, me and my dad and my family, like we have a lot of people that
Hmm.
love us and support us and are around, family, friends, all the things. You would think that people like that would always feel supported. And there were so many moments where I have never felt more alone in my entire life, right? Even
Yes.
though you have so many people that love you and that care for you. And in the beginning, when someone dies, everybody's there.
Yeah.
Everybody rushes. Everybody has the food and the flowers and the cards, and you're writing the eulogy and you're doing the funeral, and everybody's there. So you don't even have time because you're just trying to get through the funeral or celebration of life or whatever you're having. And I don't think that it was until like weeks later where it finally hit me. When everything settles and you have to go back to your normal life and you want the world to stop because your world has just stopped. It has
Yes.
literally collided with everything and nothing stops. Nothing stops. And I remember just like, why can't things stop? And you can't stop. And I
No.
can't stop being a mom. And my
Yeah.
kid needs me. And I need to get up. And you need to do all of the things. And you just don't want to.
And the disassociation, do you feel like it was like a dream just walking through it? I just
Yeah,
feel like it's a fog that you can't
it is.
hold on to in your memory or when you're
No,
present in it. It's like
no.
your soul and your body is disassociated, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I yeah, it's almost like I wasn't here, or I was only here when I needed to be here
Mm-hmm.
just to survive the day. And I have never been more sad in my entire life. Never. I've never
And
been more depressed.
do you find too that as you're in that fragile state, because it is a fragile state being in that emotional
Mm.
capacity, that the layers of chaos just became more and more relevant around you? Because I
Mhm.
find it's not just we're managing this, all of a sudden we're managing people being jerks and insensitive through this, the demands of people being unrealistic, people's judgments kind of being inflicted in there, or
Mhm.
even connecting to unhealthy behaviors to numb our pain, to disassociate it. No, I'm fine. Everything's great. Stop focusing on me. I don't want to be conversation. So we start
Mhm.
putting on this facade of what we want our experience to look like it's being, whereas in the private of our home, it's like everything falls apart. Does that make sense for you at all?
Yeah, in the evenings were the hardest.
Yeah.
I had my routine. Mason would go to daycare even if I didn't work. I needed him to have normalcy.
Yeah.
And so he went to daycare, and thank God for that. And there were days where I would just lay in bed and cry. But it was in the evenings where I was the worst. It's amazing how fake you can be when you have a child,
Yeah.
and how you can, yeah, you can get through the day. I can laugh, I can do a craft, I can color, I can play a game, I can do anything so that that little boy doesn't feel
Yeah.
the fraction of what I am feeling in my soul. So I can do that for him.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you use up all your strength in the day for him. That in the evening is where I was like, I have nothing left. And it felt like those feelings were going to crush me. And so there were times where, yep, I drank my pain away 100%. And I was totally ashamed of it and would hide it because you don't want to tell people that, but you just you do what you think you need to do just to get through.
Yes.
And yeah, I remember it's just like, I'm gonna have a glass of wine or two or three just so that I don't have to feel this soul crushing pain tonight. And you think that you're doing yourself a favor, and you're not, because the grief is waiting for you.
Yes.
When
It is
you,
so patient.
it is waiting for you when you're all done doing that. When you're all done disassociating, when you're all done drinking it away, when you're all done being distracted and trying to pretend you're okay with your friends and doing all the things and keeping busy and going here and there, it will wait for you, and it does. And mm, it just prolonged the inevitable.
Yeah.
It didn't help at all. Probably made things worse.
Mm.
And I guess that was just it was a journey that obviously I had to learn on my own and realize, the only way you can get through it is to feel it.
Isn't it the hardest to do that? It's
It
so
is.
hard when you realize that you have to hold space with it.
You do. And you don't want to, because that space is uncomfortable.
Mm.
That sitting there knowing that you never get to see that person again. You never get one more I love you, one more hug,
Mm-hmm.
one more piece of advice, one more sarcastic comment. You don't get any of those. That is a pain that I don't wish on anyone.
No. And the
And
nurturing that you needed probably was really feeling that from your connection, right?
yeah, the only person I needed was gone,
Yeah.
and nobody else was good enough.
Wow. So did
And
you find all the relationships connected to you at this point really changing and altering through that state that you were holding with pain and trying to navigate, trying to
mm,
show up? Because I can imagine you're changing through this.
oh,
You're shifting and navigating and just trying to survive at this point
mm,
as a mom. How did that shift for you in your life? How did things ripple?
I think it was finally when I stopped drinking the pain away and sat with it. I crumbled. And there were so many days where I was just like, I don't want to know a world where he's not here, and I don't want to be. I don't want to. I didn't want to be here, and that turns my stomach as I say it, still to this day, because I felt like that. I just like I don't know if I'm strong enough to walk this world without him. For somebody that's been there your entire life, and I think it was in those like soul crushing moments where I would look at Nice and my friends and my family, and I just thought, if I don't do something, I'm not making it out of this. And I got a bit scared with those thoughts. You know, I've been sad before, but never like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I gotta find something. I have to find something. And I don't know exactly how it came up. I believe it was my friend Megan who had shared this woman, and she does a manifestation class online. And I was like, wow, maybe I'll check that out. You know, just try something else. I wasn't really into spiritual things. You know, I'm not into God. I was not a very spiritual person. And my friend Megan has always pushed me in this direction. And so did my friend Becky. And I just like, oh God, you guys are crazy. Like, I can't believe the things that you're saying, whatever, right? Like, and that's how I was for years. Finally, I picked this class, and it was all just about trusting the universe and trusting what's being put in front of you, and that you can get through what is put in front of you. And the first week of the class, you had to manifest like a purple car or something. I'm just like, oh God, are you serious? Like, I'm gonna manifest a purple car. That's stupid. For one, purple cars aren't very popular. And the entire class had to manifest this, and then you had to share it. And she's like, you have a whole week. And I remember
Immediately,
having literally the worst attitude ever about it. I'm like,
I'm like, I can't wait to see how this shows up.
I'm like, this is not a thing. Is this the class that I just paid for? Are you actually fucking kidding me?
It's
Oh
amazing
my
when you
God. We're manifesting a purple car. Cool. And like, purple is my favorite color. So, okay, here we go. Sure enough, like days go by. I'm like, yep, still haven't seen the purple car. This class is dumb. This class is dumb.
until
Until day 6. And I think Mason was trying soccer at that point, and I was in Sport Check getting him shin guards and runners or whatever I was getting him. And I walk out, and like, I hate to admit this because my attitude was so bad regarding it. Like, I hate putting my foot in my mouth. I do. I really, really do. I walked out. I know you're gonna love this. I walked out of Sport Check, and there was not one, not two, not three, but 4 purple cars in that parking
oh my
lot.
God, your dad really made you stop short right there, didn't he?
Yeah. And I was like, I think I dropped my bag, and my mouth hit the floor, and I was like, all I said was, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Well, if that is not a slap across the face, I don't know what is.
Right? I was like, this is not real,
Oh
but it's
my.
real.
Mm.
And and then I finished that class, and it was a 12-week course, and it was through that I really started doing the inner work and inner healing and sitting with my emotions. There were so many tasks that we had to do and share every week that really made me sit with my grief and those
Wow.
feelings. And I honestly think that class saved my life.
That is what a gift to experience and
Oh,
hold space with that. And I
yeah,
always find these things find us at just the right time. There's
yeah.
always a divine intervention with it, and there's always a purpose that is clear when we're looking back at it.
Mhm.
Does
Even
that
if you
make
think it's
sense?
dumb and you're fighting it.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
acceptable. I always encourage
right.
discernment, especially with woo woo.
Hmm.
Everybody uses that term differently, but if it's anything that's like, always hold discernment. If it doesn't feel aligned for you, let it go, but also give
Yeah.
it the opportunity to really kind of show its colors to you as well.
Yeah, and I did. And I think it was that time frame that I had the
Mm.
week where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna give it the week. This sounds crazy, but I'm gonna give it the week and share shit. And
Wow.
I took a picture of all those, and I was blown away.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Do you have
So
that
that
framed on your wall? Because you should.
I actually don't. I should.
It's a great
I
idea for the
should.
new year.
It is. It is. Yes,
After
it is.
January 17th, the energetic new year.
Okay.
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 Well,
Okay. Okay.
I'll send you an email
A
after.
reminder. Okay. Yeah. I
Oh
think
my
that was the turning
goodness.
point.
That's incredible. So you started to get some perspective, some healing, some kind of connection
Mhm.
points of self again. Does that make like, is that justified in saying you were starting to learn who
Mhm.
you were again?
Yeah, because I feel like just with everything that was happening in my life, I wasn't in the best relationship and super rocky. I think after you lose somebody that significant,
Yeah.
you life forces you to
Yeah.
look at things and people and relationships way
Oh,
different.
it's so
Like
true.
there are so many things that and you now just refer to before and after that death always. Um, there were so many things that I tolerated from so many people before I lost my dad.
Yeah.
Whereas once you feel the magnitude of that loss, there are some things that you will never tolerate in your life ever again.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it takes that breaking point and losing that soul and that relationship to really look at your life and think, is this what I want? Is this the
Mm.
life that I want? Is it right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if I hadn't lost my dad, I would have just continued the way that I was.
Yeah.
And now that I look back, I was a very numb soul. I was just surviving.
Doing the
That's it.
expected.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It's funny when I look back at that period of like the grind of showing up as the traditional values we were taught as a child, right? To be the partner, to be the mom, working, educated, doing these
Mm-hmm.
things, being social, being this falsified identity that just
Mm-hmm.
never serves or feels aligned in some way. There's love, but there's a disconnect of who we are in it because we're just serving everybody. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I was living for everybody but myself.
Yes.
Every single person but myself. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I was just the parts that everybody thought that I should be.
Yeah. And were you seeking a lot of validation? And then afterwards, you were
Yes.
like, I don't really need that actually.
Yes. And that's sometimes still something that I struggle with, but I've
Yeah.
come like so far is I always needed that validation. I
Mm.
always needed somebody to tell me that I was doing the right thing or I was going on the right path or whatever. And it was never self led,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
Yeah. And when you get shooken up like that in your soul, you move differently.
Yeah,
You have, well, not everybody does, unfortunately. Not
it's a
everybody gets
choice.
here. It is a choice.
Yeah.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's 1,000% probably the hardest journey I've ever fucking been on.
And can we just also say that somebody who has walked that will never show judgment to another of where
Mm-mm,
they're at? Because that's something I get so protective of. People
mm-mm,
who shade judgment onto any interaction in those moments of somebody's life altering events, and not just the first year, I'm talking 3 years,
mm-mm,
has no business showing judgment because they have not walked 1 second of that journey. They have just watched externally because they have not ignited that path. So
mm-mm.
that's, I just want to reinforce that because that's something that people really need to start digesting. Do not
They do.
take advice from somebody on how to bake a cake if they've never been in the kitchen, okay?
Yeah, no. And people are going to have so much advice for you. And some of that advice is gonna rock you. And yeah, you don't listen to it.
Well,
You
and
can't.
it makes you feel
People don't know.
terrible.
It does. They make you feel
Nobody
guilty.
loves you where you're at.
Yeah,
And that's all
yeah.
you need is
That's
unconditional love
all.
of where you're at.
Yeah. I
No
need you to hold me in
reminder,
this.
right?
Yeah, I need you to hold me while my
Yeah.
world crumbles.
Yeah.
I need you to hold me when my son just asks when I'm going to stop crying and
Yeah.
is Papa all done in heaven. I need you to just meet me where I am, not where you're hoping I want to be
Yeah.
or you want me to be.
To alleviate your pain, not mine.
And that's where I wanted to go with that
Yeah.
because grief makes people uncomfortable.
Yes.
People do not know how to deal with people with grief. It makes people uncomfortable. And you would think like your friends and your family, well, they're gonna hold space for me. They know what to do. No, they don't. No,
No,
they don't. You
no,
can't expect them to know either.
no. I because I
But
feel everybody's so individual,
hmm
but it's starting that conversation of what can I do for you? How can I show
hmm
up? And not,
hmm
I find too, people will force what they feel they would need into
hmm
your space and not recognizing the individual you are. Did you have
hmm
that show up for you as well?
hmm yeah, yeah. People just did what they thought that they needed.
Yeah. Did
But
anybody ask you what you needed?
my best friend Brittany, she always asks,
Oh,
yeah, what I need. Yeah,
that's
that's
incredible that you had
that's one
that.
of yeah, that's I think that's one of the most powerful questions that somebody can ask you. She'll always say it in a bit of a different way, like, how can I support you? What do you need from me? Um, and sometimes in those moments you don't even know what you need, but even somebody just offering or asking that question is just like, I don't know what I need, but I can think about it.
Right.
I can get back to you. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know in this moment while I'm sitting on the floor crying my eyes out for whatever reason, but I can get back to you.
Yeah.
And having that question asked is it's simple and so powerful. And something too that my friends have found as well was a study done, and I saw a video of it where you just it takes 12 minutes to bring somebody out of like a spiraling depression.
Wow.
And so there are some times where my friends and I will just say, if you're struggling or whatever, do you have 12 minutes? And,
That is
so there,
powerful.
yeah, because that's all it takes. Like most people will have 12 minutes. And sometimes it's 12 minutes of fucking heavy breathing and bawling on the phone while you just sit there and listen and hold space for that person. Sometimes it's, hey, can we order pizza and talk about stupid things?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a walk. It's can be so many things. And one of those friends is all the way in Australia, and could support me halfway around the world because of technology and just saying, hey, buddy, I need 12 minutes.
That's incredible. Wow,
right?
that is powerful. You're going to have to share me that video so we can,
I will. I'll
right? So
find
the
it.
community can receive support in that way, because that
Mhm,
is so beautiful. And thank you for that gift for everybody,
mhm,
because that you get so lost in it. It's
mhm,
so consuming, and just
mhm.
even somebody holding space without talk can be impactful too. Just
And
knowing
I
you're
think,
not alone.
right. And I think people that are outside, obviously, they're not in your feelings, but when they're on the outside, they think it has to be some like grand gesture, that they've got to be doing more, or and it's not.
Yeah.
That question, hey, what do you need from me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or can I have 12 minutes? You
Yeah.
know, it
Yeah.
can be so small.
Yeah. And let's also not try and solve or
Mm-mm.
inspire in these moments, because I find
Mm-mm.
people want to like ignite how unstoppable and strong you are. And it's like,
Uh,
I don't want to be.
mm-mm.
Like,
I'm being
when
forced to.
am I allowed to be nurtured?
Yeah. Yeah, when can I just fall apart and not be
Yeah.
strong? And that was one of the really big things that I struggled with, is like, and still to this day, people are like, you're the strongest person from what you've been through.
Oh,
It's
drives me
been
nuts.
so many things. It's just like,
I
yeah, I
don't
don't
want
want to
it
be,
to be. Saying at the
I
same
don't,
time.
right? Like, cool.
If
I'm
I had a
glad.
choice, it wouldn't
I
be.
wouldn't. I, this is, this is not something that I wanted.
Thank you.
I would have
Yes.
the amount of strength I have had to muster up in many situations is not what I ever thought would be in my life.
Oh, thank
And I
you
know
for
it's
recognizing this.
right. And I know like it's admirable, and people are just like, oh, I wish I had your strength. Like, I don't know how you do it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, maybe I don't want to do it. Can I just be
Right?
weak for once?
Yes. Yes. Nobody asked for this. We don't want to be soldiers. We don't want to
Nah,
have, right? Like,
I'm
we're
done fighting.
right. It's exhausting. Can we just find space where we're allowed to just be a mess and loved for it?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I see you and I recognize this. Gosh. So as this journey continues for you, Lindsay, like looking back,
Mhm.
how has this molded where you are now? How are you showing up differently in life? Because I find these events really rock us too on how fragile we actually are,
Mhm.
how we want to show up in this world, and
Mhm.
how time just drifts away. I don't know where time is going these days. It is not on the
No
same
clue.
clock it used to be.
No, not at all. No, it sure is not.
Whoa, 2025. Can we take a
Right?
chill pill?
Right? Yeah. Um, where has it led me? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like where do you think, like looking at the journey of this, like where you're at now? Because
Hmm.
listen, I'll never forget seeing you the first day in my office.
Hmm.
Like that was a big connection point for me in looking back at the years and seeing the growth
Hmm.
and the healing and
Hmm.
self work and reflection, and not in just like a mental, you're doing emotional, you're doing physical, you're doing communication, you're doing empath, you're doing work, you're educating yourself in every way you can. Like you have taken this energy of, it feels like fractured, soul to this morphine empowered woman,
Hmm.
even though we're still feeling these emotional bits and these emotional waves, we're holding space, but it feels like you have the tools now to have capacity around it. Does that make sense? Is that
Hmm.
fair for me to kind of, on my interpretation of what I've seen through the years with you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you hit it.
Thank you.
I yeah, you did. You did.
Just check. I didn't
Uh,
want to put words in your mouth, but I was like,
no, 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 no.
it's
I would have stopped.
amazing.
I would have stopped you. I would have stopped you. No problem. No, you hit it. I went from like a shell of a human being, is
Yeah.
how I describe it when I talk about it, to a woman who finally, for the first time in her life, knows her worth.
Yeah. Oh,
And and that you can't put a price on that.
yeah.
You can't put a feeling on that. The way that I move in the world now is completely different. I love harder. I love louder. I love quicker.
Yeah.
When you experience the amount of loss that I have experienced, because 7 people died the year that my dad died.
Oh,
And then a year after that, Everett committed suicide. So it has been quite, quite the earth shaking um, things that have happened. And the amount of grief is huge. And when you go from, I remember there was a book I was reading and it was The Happiness Advantage. And it would ask you a question that what are the things that make you happy? And I literally sat on my bed and I was like, hmm, no clue. I didn't even know what made me happy. Like
yeah.
that's how empty I was. That's how
Mm-hmm.
much I didn't know who I was. And through this journey of learning to love myself and put some of that emotional baggage down and feel my feelings and not numb with alcohol and distractions and being busy, I found I found not only like my light, but I also found my backbone and my voice. Because there are things that I will never tolerate ever again. And from people that I thought I would have in my life forever.
Oh, I
There are
get
some
that. Yeah.
there are some family members that once my dad died, just you you realize that you put a lot of people on a pedestal, and then that pedestal just gets knocked down and you're like, the way that you move and the way that you support me and the way that you speak to me no longer aligns with this person that I'm becoming.
Yeah.
And I have gotten rid of people that I never, if you would have asked me 6 years ago, I would have known they would be in my life forever.
Mm.
You know? So like your tolerance for bullshit is zero. I I have no time for things that don't matter anymore
Yeah. Oh,
because because when you lose somebody of that magnitude, well, what else matters? If it does not move me or ignite me or make me feel loved and joy and whatever, then it is not for me. I I don't have to deal with that. And I dealt with so much before
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where no, you don't get access anymore.
And did you find that people wanted to keep you in the narrative that they saw you as before all this occurred? And when you get that viewpoint that they held you at, it kind of shocks you, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Because
Yeah.
people think that they can tell you how you're supposed to move through life and who you're
Yeah.
supposed to become. Or they will tell you, well, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess what?
You're
You're
supposed to.
supposed to.
You're
You're
supposed
supposed to. And I'm so glad that I have. And I'm
to. Mm-hmm.
so glad that I move in a different way.
Yeah. Oh,
And
this
not
is
only for me, but
awesome.
for my son.
Yes.
Because I have
Gosh.
to show him how you're supposed to move. I don't want him to be a shell of a human being the way that I was. I don't want him to tolerate a really bad relationship for 8.5 years and
Yeah.
become nobody.
Yes.
No, no.
Yes.
When you figure out who you are and when grief changes your perspective
Yeah.
on life, it is like I can't even describe it, but it's almost like you're unstoppable.
It kind of pushes you to the zone of no fucks given anymore.
No, zero.
And
Like, okay, walk
before
out of my life. Yeah.
you would empower everybody's opinion, their validation,
Yes.
all these aspects. And
Yes.
then After a certain
Yeah.
point, you're like, well, this is my life. Where are you in it? Why am I giving
Right.
you a voice in that?
Right. Yeah. Why do you get so much say? Why do
Yeah.
you hold so much space if the space you're holding is not good?
Mm,
Right? So it really teaches you boundaries and the importance of your relationships and the importance of not having too many relationships, but having strong ones.
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Can I ask, how has your relationship morphed now with your father since he's in spirit? Like, how is he showing up for you now?
Um, he shows up all the time. I get dimes all the time. Mason and I found, I think, 3 dimes the other day. Just like one was in the bottom of the shopping bag, the other one was in the middle of the floor, and I think one was in the bathroom. And so we always know that that's Papa. Since I've taken some of your courses, I actually can see shadows now, and I can see my dad's shadow in Mason's room every night.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, he shows up when I'm gonna do something stupid as well, and then I can just hear his voice in my head. He shows up in a lot of ways, and he's
For our
on
audience, eh?
right. Um, I don't. He's always around.
Yeah.
I sometimes if I'm missing him, it's weird, but I will put the color blue on because that reminds me of him. He had the most
Oh,
beautiful blue eyes. And I got a diamond made of his ashes, and it actually was tinted blue just naturally. Um,
that's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. So there's just a few things. I have a blanket with his pictures on that is on my couch all the time, and I think too, um, something that I remember is sometimes people will tell you to stop talking about it.
What?
Yep. And
Are they still around to stand after that?
no, they're not in my life anymore. Absolutely not.
Shocked that
But
they still have a pulse after that because let me
right? I wouldn't do well in
tell you,
jail. Let's
I
say
get
that.
so protective of people's hearts, that stories I
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
with what people go through and what they have to
Yeah.
navigate while they're in this like incredibly painful
Hmm.
state is, I get enraged. I can't even.
So I
So
just want to
tell,
remind people that are listening,
yeah.
talk talk about them all the time. My dad has been passed for 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I talk about him all the time.
Yes.
And if you don't want to hear it, obviously don't be in my life, but
Yeah.
never stop talking about them. Also, never stop talking about your grief. If there is a day, because there will be a day 6 years later where something will just get me and it will rock me to the ground and I will cry and whatever, and you recover quicker as time goes on, but
Mm-hmm.
still, it's still very much there. Don't let people put a time cap on your feelings or your grief ever.
Oh,
You're allowed to talk about it as much and as often as you need to. I've
thank
heard people
you.
being told to move on.
Oh,
And like,
I,
no, you don't get to move on. You
yeah.
get to move through it however you need to move through it.
Thank you for that. Do you find that you feel more open and safe in certain connection points in your life to discuss these things, and other ones,
Mhm.
there's no space for it, or they are not allowed to have that space with you?
Yeah, they don't get that space or that connection anymore. I
Mhm.
can kind of pick up on those people pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Also, too, even if I'm sharing, say, in a group and I know that there's somebody there that's like that, I just pay no attention to them because they
Yeah.
don't matter. Because
Yeah.
I've learned that worth that, even if I'm going to share, there's going to be lots of people that maybe they don't agree with what I'm saying or they don't understand it, which that's totally fine. You do
Yes.
you, but there are so many things that people can take away from this.
Mm-hmm.
And those people that are so shut off are those people that don't do the work. And I
Yeah.
feel really sorry for those people
Yeah.
because they're the ones that are just walking through life, surviving and not thriving, and that's fine. but
Yeah,
that's not,
that's their choice, right? But it's
yeah.
interesting too, because even though they may act in a certain way, like disassociated, belittling,
Mhm.
whatever it is, you actually don't know the impact of that, because I guarantee probably 90% of those folks are processing it over and over again, and it
Mhm.
can form into something. So I find, interestingly enough, there is a purpose. No matter how uncomfortable it may have seemed for you, you may have illuminated something that they may be open up to now, but we don't get the privilege of seeing that until later, where all of a
Mhm.
sudden you run into them and they thank you for that moment and they apologize, or you never get that. But it's never something to feed.
No,
Yeah.
never. And I always used to feed, if I was talking about my grief or my trauma or whatever has happened to me, that people would say I was in the victim mentality.
Mm,
And I always hated that. And it actually stopped me from sharing a lot and being vulnerable and having
wow.
these kind of moments, because I don't ever look at myself as a victim.
Yeah.
I look at myself as a relatable person on
Mm-hmm.
so many different levels. And if I'm not willing to share, because I am very open to sharing and very vulnerable and okay to talk about almost everything that's happened to
Yeah.
me. Um, if I feed into that, then nobody would get anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like my purpose in this world is, how could I have been put through all the things I've been put through for no reason at all?
Yeah.
But there has to be a reason, and it's to help people. It's for them to get those little glimmers or moments that they can pick from this and be like, oh God, that really resonated with me. Because not everything is going
Wow.
to resonate with everyone, but somebody is going to
Yeah.
be impacted in some way. And
Oh,
every
yes.
single time I've shared like a video or a vulnerable post on social media, I have had many people privately message me saying I
Isn't
needed
it
to hear that.
interesting that it's always a private message too?
Mm-hmm,
So, and this is why I really wanted to, because we're all learning. Listen, even though I
mm-hmm,
work with grief, I am always
mm-hmm.
learning,
Oh
because
God, yeah.
we can only experience what we experience. But when we open up to other people's experiences and have those conversations and ask the questions, that's where the comfort and the knowledge and the awareness grows. And I
Mm-hmm,
think it's so important for people to have these discussions. Learn
mm-hmm,
about your father, learn about his name, learn about who you are, learn about your relationship in the past and present, because as a
mm-hmm,
medium, I've also learned spirit is never ever far from us. They are just connecting to us in new ways,
mm-hmm.
right? And it's
Absolutely, absolutely.
beautiful to really feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there anything more that you wanted to kind of like share that you think is important or impactful for people that are experiencing this
Mm-hmm.
currently in their life?
Um, I think people need to be reminded that no one's coming to save you.
Mm. Wouldn't it be nice if a millionaire came though, Lindsay, and we could just
Yeah.
vacate and
Yes.
pay
Because
for
they
all the
say money can't buy
luxuries?
happiness, but it can.
I would like
It can.
it.
It would make things so much easier.
So much easier, let me tell you. I mean, those people that are saying that have not walked in this journey, let me tell you. Oh my goodness.
God. So good. So
Oh, so
good.
nobody's saving us, Lindsay. I didn't know. I was really hoping. I was gonna be like,
No,
Jason, he
save
came, but
you,
you can
Opie.
come too. I told him we're a package. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. So good. I think I just want to remind people like you have to pull yourself out of that.
Yeah.
You really do. You have to do the work, and it's hard, but it's 1,000% worth it.
Wow. Is there any
Just
kind
the
of
way that
tool that you really like magnetized to?
uh feeling the feelings and not
Yeah.
numbing them. I think is probably number one. Don't run away from them.
Yeah.
Don't try to work out or go and be busy with your friends or drink or whatever coping mechanism you think that you have, maybe look
Yeah.
at it and just really sit with it. And journaling, I really thrived with, your brain will be so busy and mean and scary and all the things. Just get
Yeah.
it out on paper. Get it
I
out of your head.
I think that literally was the one tool that saved my life through
Yeah,
life
yeah.
overhauls, honestly.
Oh
And not
yeah.
like for me, it was so important not to hold on to it. Did you find you held
Yeah.
on to it?
Well, I'm really good at doing that actually.
Really? Hey, do you
Yeah.
find it's hard to read it if you looked at it now?
If I looked at it now, no, because the state that I'm in, I
Yeah.
think it would remind me of how broken I was
Wow.
and how far I've come. Even when I look at pictures, if you look at my eyes, like I literally look dead in
Yeah.
my, like my soul looks dead. And there are pictures that I think I shared one with Brittany the other day where I'm about I think it was 10 years ago. And I look younger today than I did in that picture.
Wow.
Yeah, so like it just speaks volumes of what the work can actually do.
It really does. It's just,
Yeah.
it's huge. It's
Yeah,
huge.
so I don't think reading it, I think reading it would just bring me nothing but pride at this point.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I
Yeah.
am so proud of you. Like watching you through the ebbs and flows and like really vocalizing and honoring when we're going through junk. Like that's what I love about you. You don't hide it. You're like, no,
No.
this was a terrible day. I didn't even want to show up today, Opie, but I came and I'm like, I fucking love it.
Right. Right.
Right?
Falling an hour before this for different reasons, but here we are.
Here
I'll
we
always show up
are.
authentically as myself now because
Right?
I didn't do that for so long.
Mm.
And
And I,
the only thing that always will make me so sad, even though I know he can see me, is I wish that I was this version while he was here.
oh,
That always will get me.
wow. And to me, it's interesting because it's like, of course, you have to morph into that version with him watching and guiding on the other side because he
Poor,
wanted you to own that on your own
right, without him.
with him in a different way.
Right,
Right? Like
right.
like he wants you to feel proud because when I connect to his energy, it's like he's so proud of you and he
Mm-hmm.
just keeps seeing you grow and grow. And he shows me, he gets so hyperactive. He's like showing me all these forward points and all these different shifts and stuff. And I'm like, listen, I don't know about you, but we're right here. Like it's so different connecting to spirit versus human, right? Because we're in the grind,
Yeah,
we're in the I can't see the next turn.
yeah,
And when does this show up and how does this show up? Where spirit's like, man, like look at this light. Look, this is a piece of
right,
me. This is
right.
an extension of my heart, my love, my dedication, my sacrifice. And look at her.
Yeah.
Right. And not only you, your son, right? Like showing up in that regard. So it's like there's just such an overload
Mm-hmm.
of like protection and guidance and support and divine intervention through it.
Mm-hmm.
And poor
Yeah,
Lindsay, every time she reaches out, she's like, I knew you'd fucking say that. I hate you.
yeah. That will be bad news. She's like, oh yeah, that's good. Cool. Good. Ah, good. Good. Thanks
I
for coming out.
I love the chaos because it shakes shit up and it gets you
I
focused in
know.
a new direction,
I
baby.
know. I know. Can we just have a moment without it for once though?
God,
Good
you know,
no.
when you get your moment, can I get a moment? Because everybody
I
needs a
think we're gonna
moment.
get it together. Yeah. We're gonna get it together, I think. My God.
When is this reset of 3 days of total harmony coming? I don't know.
Right around the corner.
Or a sleep in. A sleep in would be nice. One day. One day.
God.
God. Oh, my friend. So I'm going to ask you some of my kind of closing questions here, okay? That I
Sure.
usually
Yep.
ask everyone. So, what do you think grief has really taught you about who you are?
Um, it's taught me that I will always find strength I never knew I had.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, yeah, I think that's probably a big one. It's taught me to love my people louder, more fiercely, and more often and as often as possible. I
yeah,
don't ever hesitate to tell people how I feel.
yeah.
Because you never know when that's your last time. It's also taught me boundaries. It's taught me
Nice.
that I don't need to take shit from people.
Yeah,
Um,
we
and
don't have to play that game.
no, and it's taught me to take chances
Oh,
because I don't want
that's
to get to the end of
beautiful.
my life with regret.
Mm-hmm. That's
Those would be
very
the big ones.
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of people freeze with the what if.
hmm Which I
And
still struggle with sometimes,
yeah,
but I really just try to move through it and just trust.
that's beautiful.
hmm
That's beautiful. And then how has grief kind of changed who you are?
hmm well, maybe hit rock bottom on a couple different occasions. Um, and I think hitting that part just made me realize what I wanted in my life. Like it took losing my dad to break up with Everett and
Mm-hmm.
realize I didn't want that relationship. Um, Grief also highlighted every single way I was coping in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Really highlighted the things that I needed to work on
Yeah.
personally. And some of those things really hard, especially with drinking.
Yeah.
And it also highlighted all the things I took for granted.
Wow.
Yeah, those beautiful, simple moments that you don't realize how important they are until they're gone.
Gosh, and you'd have to grieve that as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's a grieving process in its own.
yeah. So just reminding people, to take very little for granted because you will miss you'll miss those phone calls or just those little things. You'll miss them.
Wow. Wow. And what do you find the hardest part of grief for you would be?
It was those moments of feeling so alone, like those evenings that I talked about. Those I think those were they they shook me. And then, like I said, too, wanting the world to stop.
Yeah.
I think that was the hardest part. It's like you don't want it, you want it to stop, and nothing stops. Nobody
Mm.
stops, but your world stops. I think that was the hardest.
Did you ever feel validated or seen in what you were experiencing?
Hmm.
I that just kind of hit me because I just had a moment of like, you know, through my trauma and my experiences, I never felt heard, validated, or seen for what I lived through. And I
Yeah.
think that could be like such an impactful thing for somebody to
hmm
just be seen and
hmm
validated in their pain. Does that make
hmm
sense?
hmm
And
I
not
think
like
me,
like just vocally, like actually like feeling it. Because there's a
hmm
difference between somebody expressing it and
hmm
feeling the connection point in that. Does that make sense?
hmm yeah, it does. And my hesitation, obviously, you have to think like, well, was I?
Right?
And not by very many people. I would then again just say probably Brittany.
Wow.
And the person that's really sat with me in my like darkest moments, even though she hasn't walked through that kind of pain, she sat with me and her love never wavered.
That sounds like an angel.
Yeah, she's incredible.
I
I
need
I
to
think
meet Brittany.
yeah, you do. She's incredible. Yeah.
Like that's amazing. And then what did
Yeah.
you need from people around you and didn't receive? Just so that people know like it's something that they can do in their experience, maybe to support somebody else.
I needed people to just sometimes take maybe visiting or seeing me into their own hands. I didn't want to always have that planet, you know? Uh,
Yes, take that
right?
off the
Like
plate.
I know you can ask me what I need, but can you just actually show up?
Yeah.
Can you just show up with supper or, show up with a coffee? I don't always want to have to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you can't ask. Sometimes you don't have it in you. Or for me, I just felt like a burden. Or I
Mm-hmm.
always felt like I was the person that always had something going on, always earth-shattering things going on, and I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, when can the biggest thing in my life be like a flat tire instead of these earth-shattering things, right? So I think people just like showing up.
And I think the most triggering thing for people to say, for people like us who have experienced so many impactful things, is like, you're always going through something, you're always navigating, you're always busy. It's always like, you don't need to remind me.
No, not
Like,
at all.
give me a break.
I wish I wasn't going
Right?
through
It's not like
these
we
like
asked for this. Like, it's not like we
no,
go into these things, oh, this is going to be horrific, I better sign up. Right?
yeah,
People
right?
step into things out of hope and alignment, and like, this could be a shift. I'm seeing these positive
Yeah,
things, right?
yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then how has grief changed how you are, the way you want to be remembered or experienced with people that you love now? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's something that really changes too, is how we show up for the people that we see as value in our life. And how would you want to be remembered?
Mm-hmm. So that's where that victim thing comes in.
Mm.
Because a lot of times when I've shared, that's been brought up, or she just wants attention or whatever.
Oh.
And I just want to be remembered as the person who was strong enough to share
Mm.
her trauma and help people feel less alone in their darkest moments.
Yes.
Um, I want to be remembered for the love and light that I give people and for the laugh and the work that I've done and the healing. And I want people to remember that I know who I am and what I stand for and that I finally know my worth and nobody can take that away from me. I want to be remembered for that because that is probably one of the most powerful things I've ever done for myself.
That is incredible. That
Mm-hmm.
is incredible. Lindsay, it's amazing for me to see your authenticity through the journey, your reflection, your ability to be honest with yourself through your highs and your lows, and really honor the experience of each challenge, each life-changing moment, each joyous moment. And I just love that you've taken this and really made an impact with people around you.
Mm-hmm.
You show up every day, and no matter how that day looks, you show up and navigate from that point, and you're still in it, and you're still showing up in the best version of you. And it's incredible to have your voice in this world.
Okay.
It's incredible. Like, honestly, like, I hope everybody can leave a comment and just say thank you to Lindsay for holding space with us and sharing that, because God, there were so many points there that I just want people to know.
Mm. Yeah, it's important. It's important to talk about this, and I think like the work that you're doing with the grief community is incredible. I think the world needs it. The world needs to be more comfortable talking about the hard shit and
Yeah.
about what you go through. I think suicide is too high. Mental health is a crisis, and it's people like us and things that you're doing and these communities that are really going to make a huge difference. And I will stand on that until my last breath.
Amen. I thank you for that. And that's what I'm hoping, because it's not even just loss, it's the living grief that I feel is
Oh,
just
God,
so suffocating,
it is. Yeah, sometimes that's the
right?
hardest.
the
Yeah.
isolation, and we don't
Yeah.
need to be. We're all
No, we don't.
experiencing it in our own
Yeah.
ways,
Yeah. And you
right?
think that you're alone and you're not. Like there's somebody that knows a fraction of what you're feeling that
Yeah.
can make you feel less alone. And I
And
think
that,
it just takes people sharing and
yeah,
being,
and that makes you feel seen. Just even a fraction,
yes,
just even a mere
yes,
perspective just makes you
yeah,
like, oh, I'm not insane.
yeah. If you take 2 minutes of this entire podcast and it resonates with you, then hold on to those 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's one sentence that takes you, then it's one sentence. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to all resonate with you,
Yeah.
but something can.
Yeah. And keep
Yeah,
looking until you can connect and validate with
yeah,
something that is a part of you, because this may not
yes,
resonate now, but it can be very
it
clear to
could.
you later down the road. All of a
Yeah,
sudden you experience it, you look
something
back and you're
happened.
like, wow, that makes sense now.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And I
Yeah,
always remind people too, I'm glad that you don't understand my work,
yeah. I'm
because a
glad
lot of
people
people
don't
don't, they
understand.
don't have that pain yet to
Yeah,
understand what that
yeah,
comfort can do and that illumination or connection point can be.
100%.
Right.
Yeah,
And don't
yeah.
stop your intuition. Okay.
I
i'm
won't.
always I'm always gently reminding her, keep going, Lindsay.
Always. I knew that was coming. I literally knew that was coming.
You've
But
got
she hasn't said it
this.
yet. She hasn't said it yet.
Because I find too, this is always a catalyst. We are
It is.
generational cycle breakers, all these things. That's why there's so much impact around it. It's uncomfortable because we are reflecting back to people what they need to ignite. So it's, you're unstoppable. I love it.
Thank you. So are you.
Soul sisters unite.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh
God.
my
Yes.
goodness. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing your heart, your journey, and your words with us. I cannot tell you how grateful I am. And Grief Connection, please drop a like, drop a comment. Lindsay can check out your things and write back if you have any words to say to her. But I hope everybody else resonated as much as I did with this beautiful chat. Lindsay, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Yeah. Bye, Grief Connection. Until our next one. Take care.